Hey, welcome to Smoking Eagles Rod Shop, and in today's video I'm going to be working on the old van. You hear that? It is thundering and lightning. There's a big old thunderstorm rolling through. It's supposed to rain all day, which makes it perfect for me to hang out in the shop with you guys and work on the old van. Now, why am I working on the old van? Well, I got this thing from my grandfather's estate when he passed away. He had this thing for many, many years. It's got almost 94,000 miles on it. I got it back on the street, got good brakes on it, you know, blah, 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 replaced the floors, whole bunch of videos available on the channel. You can go check that stuff out. But this thing wanders down the road like a chicken with its head cut off, and I'm like, you know, it's getting bad. I need to really look into this thing. So I tossed her up on the lift, and this is what I come up with. As you can see, this is my tie rod, my outer tie rod, and it's absolutely trashed. The inner tie rod, it's bad too. This is the drag link, it's all shot. And again, 94,000 miles will do that. So, I went to my local O'Reilly's, ordered all new parts, and this is what I got. So I got this Master Pro drag link. They had to special order this, took them like a day and a half to get it. This is my inner tie rod, my outer tie rod, and my adjuster. It's all Master Pro. I ordered all from the same manufacturer. That way, I know all these parts should go together flawlessly and work good together. Definitely didn't want like one of one brand and one of another brand. And I know what you're thinking. Some of you out there are saying, hey, you could have went to Detroit Axle or Rock Auto or Amazon or eBay or all these places and got these parts cheaper. You are correct, I could have. But a couple of things here. Follow my train of thought. On these big parts like this, I like to be able to take them back to the store and return them or exchange them immediately, same day. Because when I go to tear this all apart, I can't drive the van until it's back together. And if I happen to get the wrong part or there's a problem with one of the parts, I need that thing swapped out right now. Now, I may go to O'Reilly's and I may have to wait till the next morning for the part to come from somewhere or whatever, but at least I can go there and 99.9% of the time they can solve the problem for me right then and there, and I can get right back on the project. And that's not just O'Reilly's, that's wherever you get your parts from, whether it's Napa or your local parts store that is in your area. I know there's a bunch of different parts stores out there, and always support the hometown guy, you know, even though your O'Reilly's is in your town and O'Reilly's is a big chain, or Napa's a big chain, or AutoZone is a big chain. Remember, all the people working there, they live in your town, so you're supporting them for just a few bucks more. And if I order little piddly crap, yeah, I go online, I order little piddly crap, it shows up, it doesn't matter. But, you know, these big ticket items like, you know, ball joints and tie rods and shocks and stuff like that, I like to get from my local store. That way, like I said, easy to swap out, easy to warranty, all that stuff. Just makes your life a whole lot simpler for just a few extra dollars. Anyway, let's get to tearing into this thing. And yeah, there's going to be thunder, there's going to be lightning, and the power may go out. It flickered a little bit ago, so let's see what kind of adventures we get into. This should really be pretty simple. I'll get you down here with a flashlight and kind of explain what we got to do if you've never done tie rods or drag links or anything like that. So we've got this adjuster here. We've got a big old nut on the top of this tie rod here. We've got a big old nut right here on the pitman arm. We got a big old nut here on the inner tie rod. And then we've got a big old nut over here on this drag link. Now, the drag link is non-adjustable on these Ford vans. So the only real alignment adjustment is right here on this adjuster. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take this inner and outer tie rod off in one piece. We're not gonna mess with this adjuster, and we're gonna set the new one to the same, or as close to the same as we can, because we got a 1/4 inch of slop in here, and we'll be able to get it close enough that a contractor would be happy with it. And yeah, then we should be good to go. Throw that drag link on, it's non-adjustable. I'm gonna get a wrench and start busting these bolts out. The big thing is just gonna be trying to drive them out of these tapered pockets that they've been in since 1976. But I'm sure we'll get her handled. So let's get wrenching on this 3rd gen van. I'll go grab some tools. So the first thing I gotta do is get all these cotter pins out of here. And they are damn near rusted off on most of these. Like that one. But I'm hoping we can get her freed up a little bit. Trick is grab a pair of pliers and then tap on it. Like that, and then it won't just bend it and break it off. There's one. See if we can get this rotted out one off of here. I think it moved. Really don't have much to hang on to on that anymore. It's wiggling. Come on, baby. Oh, the backside's still bent. I didn't see that. I thought that was rusted clean off of there. Hey, we got something to hang on to now. There's two. Let her sit. We got another one over here on the other side. It's because I said, I ought to be able to do this without taking the tires off, and I jinxed myself. Alright, so I got those all cleaned up, and you can put a wire wheel on the end of a drill, anything you want, or use a hand wire brush. I've done it many a times, it works just fine. The big thing, like with the air die grinder, you just want to make sure you don't obviously hit your tires. But anyway, I got a 7/8 socket on here and my ratcheting breaker bar. Let's see if I get lucky and these things come off. I also hit them with a little PB. There we go. That one came right loose. Now, I'm not going to take them all the way off. I'm just going to take them off until they're flush with the head. Because we're going to smack them with a mallet and see if we can get lucky and get them to pop right out. This doesn't have a locking steering wheel. So I'm going to hang on to this tire here while I'm on this Pitman arm. And hopefully I can keep the steering from turning too much. Yep, there we go. Not bad for the rust belt. Tell you what, I'm not a Ford guy, and this van is definitely a Ford, but it really wanted me to work on it, because every time I work on something on this van, I mean, sure, it has its ups and downs, but for the most part, it treats me pretty good. Man, this tie rod out here is just smoked. Now I'm going to grease the upper and lower kingpin grease zerks while I'm here, because it's the right thing to do. I've done them before. I've actually greased this front end before. I know, you're thinking, how did you not know how bad it was? Well, because I just greased it. I hadn't even drove it yet. I just, was doing brakes and stuff, and there was grease zerks available, and I was like, hey, those probably need it. So I did it. I do like this little piece of paper that came with these parts that says, parts must be installed by a qualified ASC certified technician. That's me! With specific tools designed for correct installation, failure to follow precautions may result in damage of the parts, an unsafe vehicle, which could cause personal and property damage. I'm guessing they're just trying to get out of the warranty somehow, but I bought this from a parts store in town that knows everyone's DIYing, so Way to go, Mastercraft. Suck it. All right, got us a hammer. And let's see how many of these are gonna pop right loose without knocking a hole in a radiator or something. Got one. That one ain't coming loose. I can't really get a good angle on it. There, I'm hitting my flashlight. I think we're gonna need a bigger hammer. 1 out of 4 ain't bad. Isn't that what Meatloaf used to say? Well, that one ain't coming off. Guess we'll have to get the old pickle fork on that one. Man, 1 for 4. That kind of sucks. Anyway, I've got a tie rod tool. I'm gonna go grab it and see if we have a little better luck with it. It usually does me pretty good. Plus, it'll let this stuff soak a little bit longer. So, all right, I'm back. And I've got our tool. It's right here. It's one of those $20 Harbor Freight tools that a bunch of haters on the internet pretend like they suck, but they're actually great. The big thing you gotta do with this is put a little white lithium grease on the threads, and you're gonna slide it right in here like this so that it pushes right on top of that nut like that. Tighten your bolt down like so. And the big key here is you don't put an impact on this or just like hammer it down. What you do is you get you a wrench and you put pressure on it slowly, and then you tap it with the hammer, and when she's ready to go, you'll know. She's real tight now. There she is. Just like that. Didn't break my tool. Didn't take me but a couple seconds. All right, let's move on to the next one. I must have done 100 of these things with this tool that I paid less than 20 bucks for. It's one of those things where Harbor Freight does their little sale and they go, hey, anything under 20 bucks is 30% off, or anything under 30 bucks is 20% off, or 30%, whatever it is. And then you go in there and you snatch it up for like $12. And you get your money's worth the very first time. There's that one. Something that you might find kind of funny that I thought was kind of crazy. So this is a 76 Ford Econoline van. They're the same for like 100 years, right? It's like 75 to 91. These vans are virtually unchanged, right? I bought rear shocks for it. And while I was in there buying all this stuff, I thought, hey, this thing needs front shocks. They're ancient. So I'm like, how much are front shocks? And they said, they're special order only for front shocks on a van that was unchanged for 30 years. Well, not 30 years, 20 years. How do they not have shocks? So I go on Amazon. Oh, we'll have them to you by tomorrow. So I'm like, guess I'm buying them on Amazon. Although I would have much rather bought them at the parts store for all the stuff I went over before. There's that one. So I'll grease this tool up, put her away, and I'll meet you guys back here in just a minute. All right, let's knock the nuts off of here the rest of the way. And get these parts off of here. Oh, it's stupid thing's trying to spin on me. All right, so I'm back with some handy dandy vice grips. jam these in here, clamp these down. I don't think I'm actually clamping onto that with these vice grips, to be honest. You piece of junk. Well, I'm going to leave it here to think about its bad decisions and move on to a different one. Like this one. It has a flat screwdriver thing in the end of it. Oh, look, that one's coming right off. We'll keep that castle nut. So this one popped off there, obviously. Now, let's see if I can get this at a wicked angle. Pry down on it and get it to hold still enough to take this nut off. There it is. There's that. Clamp this baby on here. Like so. Let's see if we can't get lucky. There we go. Got this one. Now we should be able to swing that one over there down and do just like we did over here. Yeah, so probably better to take your nut all the way off, clean them threads up a little bit, screw your nut back on, that way you don't run into this BS. Tell you what, these Bremen vice grips, they are quality for what they are. And they're also one of those items that Harbor Freight puts, you know, it's under 20, 30 bucks, and you can just go in there and get the item 30% off when they do their little flash sales. Not that I'm a Harbor Freight salesman or, you know, sponsored by them or anything. I'm just trying to save y'all a little bit of cash. So, I'm not pushing out on the tire, I'm pushing down to put pressure on that so it can't spin as easy. And it's coming right out. This will also make it easy to clean this stuff up here so I can grease these kingpins. There it is. So here's where we're at. I cleaned her up, shot some fresh grease in there. I checked them. They feel pretty tight, but who knows? I mean, really, you're checking them this way, right? And making sure that those pins aren't worn the bushings out. Everything looks good. There's fresh grease. Look how clean that grease is coming out up there. That grease down there is pretty clean. So I'll grease these a couple more times once I drive it a little bit and make sure that she's full of fresh grease, and we should be good there. I cleaned out all my little pockets there just with a rag. They all look good. Nothing was spinning because they were all clamped together. What can happen is your tie rods get so worn out that they just start eating this out. That's not good. But anyway, that's more of a new car problem because everything's aluminum and cheap and junk. This is old school, lasts forever stuff. We just want it to last twice forever. So, yeah. So we need to put this inner tie rod and the outer tie rod together to equal the length of that one, as close as we can get it. And then this drag link is non-adjustable, so we'll just slap that baby on there. Once I set it over here, and make sure they look the same, which they do. They look identical, which is good. So let's go ahead and toss that on and just hand tighten the bolts, and then we'll get working on that other tie rod on the other side. So you'll be happy to know that in true Chinese replacement part style, the new nuts are smaller and they're somewhere between 7/8 and some, I don't know, metric BS. And I'm gonna use a 7/8 standard, you know, like the free world intended when they built this. So as you can see, I've stuck our drag link on there and just hand tightened those nuts, and it fits just like it should. And We're going to do our inner and outer tie rod next, and then make sure everything fits and looks good before we go tightening everything down and finalizing stuff and putting our grease zerks in and all that fun stuff. All right, so I've got our new parts sitting out here, and our connector sleeve has a left-handed thread side and a standard, so keep that in mind. Make sure you put your little clamps on first, and then I put a little bit of anti-seize on here, and we're just going to put this baby on. Wonder if I got it right the first time. Probably not. I wouldn't get that lucky. Look like I know what I'm doing. There it is. And they make a special adjuster tool for these that you clamp on and you can rotate them and stuff like that. But you don't need that unless you're setting alignments for a living, in which case you're probably not watching this video because you do this every day, all the time. The only time I adjust these is when I'm putting new stuff together. So, yeah. Don't really have any use for that. New stuff goes together pretty good. So now I'm just going to screw this one on, and this one's the left-handed one. And the reason it's like that, if you don't know, is so when you twist this, it pushes them apart or pulls them together, depending on which way you need it to go, to get your alignment set right. So I'm just going to spin this in a long way, and then I'll spin the other side in a long way, and then we'll set our length. So let's look at our 24. We're off by quite a ways. Not too bad. We got about another 1/4 inch to go. And obviously this one's sticking out more, so we need to do it here. Okay, let's measure it again. And we went just a smidge too far. So I'm going to back it out like 1 turn. Should put us about right where we need to be. Maybe 2 turns. Let's try that. Nope, I was right. 1 turn is what we needed. So we need to go back the other way. There we go. We're within a 1/16 of where it was when we took the old one off, and we're measuring from the center of each end. And as long as you measure them both the exact same way, it doesn't have to be the perfect measurement. As long as you're measuring the exact same way, you're going to get the same result. And yeah, it's kind of like weighing yourself on a scale. You know, the scale could be off 4 or 5 pounds, but as long as you always weigh yourself on the same scale, you're going to notice if you gain or lose weight, which I've been gaining a little bit here lately. We went on vacation, and yeah, the last couple of months we've been traveling a lot, and I've been eating a lot of junk, so I need to start getting back in shape so I fit underneath these things. So here we are back under the van, and it's pretty simple. You slide this baby up in here, slide the nut on there. Now before we get too out of control, man, that's way stiffer. So much better. I'm going to go get all our grease zerks and figure out what wrench it takes to put them on. And we're not going to forget about these clamps. So, don't think I'm going to forget about them. Yeah, that one's like almost long enough. Well, I don't know. Let's see when I tighten it down if it still has some teeth sticking up. I mean, it kind of does. Let's See what we get. Yeah, it ain't gonna come loose. We can live with that. I ain't going nowhere. Okay. I don't want to go too far. There. There she be. I'm going with an old nut over here too. Just so they're all the exact same size. There we go. Bend this one over. Boom. Check it out. We got her all greased up, tightened up, and that thing is solid as a rock. Nothing's flopping around loose. Looks like it's gonna break and leave us stranded on the side of the road. I had an absolute blast working on the van today, getting this thing ready for the mean streets again. Now, I could cruise this thing down the road, and if it doesn't pull or do anything crazy, I could live with it. But let's be honest, tires these days are not cheap, and these are like Avenger GTs or something, so they're over $100 a pop. I'm gonna do the right thing. I'm gonna pay the 89 bucks or whatever it is to get the front end aligned on this, and yeah, I'll be happy, and I won't wear my tires out. But yeah, this turned out really well. I hope you guys enjoyed working on the old van as much as I did. I'm going to post some other videos around my melon here of things we're doing in the shop. When you get some free time, go check those things out. We got merch available on our website, and we have a $3 a month membership program here on YouTube. It helps us buy car parts and helps me bring you guys all this sweet, sweet content. So yeah, until next time, keep on ranching. Peace.